Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Woman Crafts, and we are back for another Flosstube update in this so lovely month of October. I think, famous last words, this might be a quick one. I don't have any finishes or fully finishes to show. Yeah, I don't have that much. I don't feel like I have that much compared to what I usually have to show. But nonetheless, they are some very fun projects. So without further ado, I don't think I really have much intro for you today. Let's get into it. So as I said, I don't have any fully finished or finished projects to show you since my last video. So I thought, just to fill the space a little bit, I would show a favorite Halloween finish from last year. I think we did this last year, maybe it was the year before, but I just thought I would quickly show this because it doesn't work on the plant stand and it's just one of my favorites. So this is Current Mood by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine, I believe in 2021. I think you can now buy this chart directly off their website, but I stitched it from the magazine. And this was one that I sent to Montana friend, actually. This was kind of before I got into my fully finishing era, and it was killing her that this was languishing. So she took it home with her after a visit here to Atlanta and stitched it for me. And these were all materials that I had. So I had this fabric, I had these palms, which this was like a remnant trim from Joann's I had gotten at some point, and I feel like she had like 2 palms left over. It was perfect. It was just perfect. It was meant to be. She did a great job stitching this. This is stitched on a 28 count anemone by Stitch Me, and I just freaking adore it. So anyway, I just wanted to show it off because it actually sits out in my decor and I hold it. I love it a lot. It's a well-loved, fully finished object. Yeah, so that's all I got for that. I've had 2 new starts since we last chatted, and the first one was a highly anticipated start for me. And we'll get into the Great British Bake Off game, but basically what I finally gave myself permission to start it is because it got called for Bake Off. But as you'll see, I've really kind of abandoned it. But this is Monster House Sal by Satsuma Street. This was a stitch along a couple weeks ago still, but I did not start it before it was fully released, which is the first time that's ever happened to me. I have started a stitch along late, but I've never waited until after a stitch along was out to start something. And I had bought it. I knew I was going to do it. I just have a lot of things going on. But anyway, so this is Monster House Sal, and here is my start. Ooh, I love it. I love it on the pink. It has been cool as the Sal has progressed to see more people doing this on funky fabrics, because the called for is like a beige, basically. Like, she didn't recommend white or black or really any colors, and there's obviously a lot of fun colors in this piece. I have it, this is my like StitchCon rings. This is like all little, you know, floss drops I got from StitchCon. So anyway, there's lots of colors in here, but I was, even before I saw the whole thing, I was sort of like, I think all of these would pop on this pink. And now seeing the full thing and seeing some other fun colors that people have stitched on, I know it will work on a fun color. So this is 32 count linen by Laura's Fabrics in the color Flamingo. There's not much of a margin on the bottom there. It's a little like, it's kind of under a fat eighth a little bit, like it's 12 by 16 and a half by my own measurements, I guess. And I think that's like me counting like selvage to edge here, because obviously like I'm not going to stitch on the selvage, but anyway, it'll fit, it'll be fine. But I started this with Michaela of Cinematic Stitches. She and I started this on the same night together. I ruined her plans as well and bullied her into starting it with me. We've been talking about it for a while, so it was fun to chat and get that going. So yeah, I am happy to continue doing this. And in terms of my, I feel like it's going to be a quick but disjointed video. So loosely my Halloween plans were to try to get 1,300 stitches or to 13% on all of my Halloween charts. So I have put 1,300 stitches into this. At least, I don't know, I think it's more than that, but so I'm good to go there, even though it's hard because like I want to keep stitching on it. But as you'll see, things are kind of spiraling out of control in terms of plans, so that's fine. And it's obviously not even like crazy new starts. It's just, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, that was my first start. My second start was last night. It's a very sad start, but that's okay. We'll talk about it anyway. So I am trying to focus this week on my two of my active stitch alongs that are going on. And so this is Stitch for Pride by D's 20 Stitches. And this month's featured artist is Edward Gorey. And I'll put the finished image up here. I was watching some of the videos from the learning last night, so I haven't fully finished it, but he's an American illustrator who, reading just like Dee's kind of highlights, he kind of is a representation of like people who don't have any labels. Like he very specifically didn't label his sexuality in his lifetime. But anyway, here's my sad start. I have chosen for this, even though the called for is more of a black, I don't believe in like photos I've seen of all of the called for threads, there's not really a purple happening, and this is so nearly like rainbow that I wanted a purple. So that was kind of my choice for this, and I feel like, you know, purple's sort of a great October Halloween spooky color. And I was watching, one of the videos is like a flip through of someone who has a lot of his books, and he has some color illustrations as well, so I don't feel like it's completely against the artist's style, even though it seems like almost the vast majority of his work is black and white, you know, illustrations. But anyway, this is the purple. And here's where we are starting. So this is on 32 count. Hello? It's Fox and Rabbit. This is gonna annoy me as soon as I read it. Baked clay. There we go. 32 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit, with a variety of threads that I have chosen from Stash, that I have talked about as we've gone through them. But if you have any specific questions, of course, feel free to ask. Yeah, continuing to love that, hoping to get a lot of stitches in that today. That's definitely the priority today. So those are my two starts. That's it. And I have a handful of whips for you and a couple of plans, and we're kind of on our way. I think, you know, there's a lot of great October content. I know Jen's Fiberweb and Cam the Stitcher, and I think Lynn X Stitches Create. So I'm trying to think of people that I have caught who've had extra Halloween videos. Black Needle Society's been doing Stitch Hauntober. They've had some videos out. So there's just like, there's lots of extra content this month. So I will try not to keep you. But next up is Dinosaur Forest. And here is a picture of where it was before. We are really honing in on it. It's really getting there. I think I'm under 500 stitches. But here it is. Here, I'll move the needle minder, because at this point the needle minder's like, wait, what's that hiding? There we go. Ah! So I believe, since you saw it last, I finished I don't know if the Triceratops was finished or not, but I put this little guy in. I'm pretty sure he's new. And I think this plant and this plant and this plant. So I've had like 3, you can see there's a little bit of weirdness going on, and that's basically just because now I'm trying to color complete. So I think what I'm going to leave for last is there's one big plant here that is one color. So I'm going to save that for Stitch North, and this will be my big Stitch North finish. And then other than that, there is a tall plant right here that will kind of zero out the other remaining colors. It's looking spectacular and I'm so happy about it. Yeah, just loving it, just loving it. So shout out to Julian Stitches. Motif a week really changed the game, on this one for me for sure. And now we're looking at an October finish. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? And let's just shout out Jenny's bag again. I love it so much. I love it. Yeah, kit supplies. I don't know her. Kit supplies. Next up, I have one that I really thought I was going to be farther along on. This is Forbidden Fiber Co.'s Life Potion, based off the movie Hocus Pocus. I will not fumble through reading this again. And I am making the executive decision that I'm not going to stitch this candle because it is simply too big and this project has been around too long. So this also got called for Jessie Marie Does Stuff's Bake Off game. So I was stitching 100 stitches on it a day, roughly for a week. But it kind of all fell apart, but there's progress here. So we have some more words, and unfortunately, like the picture, the green, I was hoping that the green thread like on the fabric would show up better than the mock-up. It doesn't. It doesn't really, that's fine. So I now have bringeth to a full rousing bubble. I can read in person this better. On camera, it really isn't showing up. In person, it's not that bad, but on camera, it's not looking great, but that's okay. This is 40 count Sanderson by Forbidden Fiber Co., which I bought. This was my sister bought this kit as a gift for me, a couple years back. And yeah, so now I'm completely done with it's purely words. I just have words left. But you would be surprised how many stitches are still in those words. But yeah, so I think I did the math on this. Let's see. I think I have put about 500 stitches into this month. So I think it's still on the list to hopefully get its 1,300 stitches. We're over halfway through the month, but I've been known to rally. But I do have a retreat at the end of the month. So who knows? And this is all with Forbidden Fiber flosses. Sorry, I don't think I said that. They all came in the kit at the time. But I think this, yeah, I know this pattern you could buy as a PDF online. So that is that. And it's in this cute, in the kit bag. Love it. Okay, next up is my Jack's stamp collection. I'll put this whole pattern up. By Katie Landis, the Black Needle Society. This was a surprise October 1st drop, and I jumped on it with the goal of trying to do a stamp a day. That definitely has fallen by the wayside. So then I was trying to do like at least the frame every single day, or like the stamp outline every single day, and that was going well. Today's the 18th. That was going well until I have I have this remaining strand, and I have like 2 more short strands of this stamp, color, this thread color. And I went to Michael's after work on Wednesday and they were out of the color. So that's annoying. But I believe tomorrow I'm going to be by a Michael's, and a different Michael's, and I could try to get that there. So we're going to try to get it. And maybe today I will, stitch I don't even think I have enough of this thread to finish the next stamp outline, to be frank with you, which is kind of why I stopped. So I think what I'm going to do, because right now I feel like it's just sort of a disaster mitigation this month. Because I have, in terms of this is a Halloween project, I have well over 1,300 stitches in this. I'm 20% done with the entire project. So I have cleared those goals. So I could technically stop, but I like pushing myself to finish these frames. And then if you're wondering why there's like weird blurbs, basically what I will do is I will finish the frame, I will stitch the number, and then whatever's left of that strand, I will go up and find somewhere else that color is used and just like finish the thread out. So I'm getting little add-ons as I go. But you can see there's a couple that I bothered to fill all the way out. Yeah, so this is 32 count linen in hydrangea by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm loving the colors on this for sure. But I am mad. I am mad about the thread situation. All that to say, when I get the thread, I think what I'm going to do is I'm still just going to go a stamp a day from wherever I am. And so it's going to leave me with a little overhang, but so the name of the game is Disaster Mitigation right now, and that's fine. And this is, it's just, I used to not show bags at all because I just feel like, you know, whatever. But now that so many of these are like made by friends, my Tula Pink dino case made by Montana Friend. And I will say, I've been really liking something unexpected about this style. So it's very, you know, rigid with the foam, is it's nice to just kind of like, I don't know, I like working out of this. You can see I had a seam ripper incident with this project. Anyway, I love it. My next whip is Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I was gonna pause and say, look, here's what it looks like. But I have this. So this was released in their Halloween box last year and is now also available. So you can get your hands on this from their website. And I will put up a picture of where it was before. I've gotten some progress in this. I don't remember how far along I am. This one might be maybe 300 stitches. I don't think I've done a ton. So yeah, here we go. Here it is on this electric orange. This is Soul by Jackson Fabric Arts, which is a 32 count linen, but it's a hemp linen. So it's very soft and very enjoyable to work with. So yeah, basically just been putting more black up here. And I think I worked, back down this tree a little bit as well. Yeah, I got a boatload more stitches on this. Yeah, not really much to say other than I still really like it. I just want to work on all of these things all at the same time. It's very hard. But yeah, I am still sticking with my plan of like, I want to kind of get all the black done on this house, I think, so then I can start on the sky, so I can sort of like alternate going up and down, that I'm not leaving all of that full coverage for the very end. But yeah, so that has probably another 1,000 stitches it needs this month. It can happen, right? It can happen. Okay, and very last, I have a non-Halloween whip to show you, and this is basically because this month we play with Black Needle Society Humans versus Zombies, and the game is over, and I don't know that they're gonna run it next year, so I won't get into the weeds about the rules, but basically, if you're unfamiliar with the game as a concept, like one person starts as a zombie and everybody is humans. And I think if you were to, play this as like a game with kids, it's a like tag based game. And so when you get tagged, you become a zombie, and then, the zombies eventually overwhelm the humans. They run it as a stitching challenge. So there starts one zombie and they challenge someone to a 10-minute stitching challenge. And if the zombie stitches faster than the human turns into a zombie. So that's how it goes. And so if you're a human in this game, you kind of are just waiting to be challenged. And I was last human challenged this year, but that's okay. Because I really showed out when I finally got called. So our zombies were struggling a little bit this year. A lot of them expired from not feeding. They have to feed within 3 days. And so by the time that I got called, there was only 2 zombies left. And the zombie that challenged me, if they didn't win, it was their like third night, and so they would expire if they didn't beat me. So I turned it out, y'all. So I worked on, I went through my projects and tried to think of the project that would be the fastest. And this one, To All a Good Night by Autumn Lane Stitchery, I know I am fast on because earlier this year when I was doing like the March Madness stitching, where I timed myself for an hour and stitched on all of my whips, or almost all my whips at the time, this was far and away the winner that I got the most stitches on. So I know I'm fast on it. And so when I got called, you do get, you know, a good, you know, usually like about a day's notice, I would say. Oh, I didn't realize I had this like hanging thread on here. Apologies. I'm usually not the hanging thread type. Anyway, I got called and I knew it was happening. I knew what time it was. And so I went in and mapped out, this area. So I did this whole underline here. I put the reindeer in and I kind of like, I didn't know exactly where I was going to stitch. So I kind of like, I stitched around this snowflake and I like, you know, marked out around these houses, the little smoke, because these are all unstitched areas. So I feel like, you know, when you're doing speed stitching, challenge stitching, you don't want to look at a pattern, right? So that's what I did. I blocked out this whole area. So everything in here is all one color. And on top of that, right before the challenge, I like threaded a couple of needles ahead. So I didn't have to worry about that. And anyway, then I stitched my booty off for 10 minutes and just went down here basically. And so I got 74 stitches in 10 minutes and I beat my zombie. And I think that's the fastest I've ever gone compared to my numbers last year. Last year I didn't have a great project like this because this is 28 count white linen. So it's very easy to see. So that's the kind of stuff, you know, if you ever find yourself in a speed stitching situation, these are the kind of things that I like to think about. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know if I had a picture, I'll get it out one more time. If I had a picture of where it was before. So I got a pretty good, amount of progress in this. I got more stitching done prepping for that event than I did for the actual stitching event because it was only 10 minutes of stitching, but that's all good. That is all good. So that's my like rogue Christmas whip this month, but that is that. That is that. So yeah, that is all the stitching I have for you. That's all the stitching I have for you. Quickly, I will show a couple of other little things. Namely, I will show you my Star Wars scarf progress. This is from the Star Wars Stitch the Galaxy book by Tanis Gray. I'm stitching this for a friend. I am doing 4 rows a day until the end of the year. And I'm stitching with the called for. And it's getting pretty long. Look at that. So here's where it was last time you saw it. So I finished this ship out and added this whole ship. And we're starting on this one. So when I finish this ship, I think there's, another little row of section of green and black. And then I will be halfway done. So it's looking pretty good. So that'll be halfway. And then basically I will start the pattern A again and work the chart again, all the way over, all the way again. So yep, it's double knit. So the image is reversed on the back and it's looking great. That's all I have to say about that. I'm stitching it on size 4, 3.5 mil needles. If that is of interest. And I hope my friend enjoys it. And it's been really nice to just do four rows a day. It's feeling very, very satisfying. We're making good progress. And then the last thing I want to show is, because I need to mail these out today. I'm so sorry. I did make my bags, my giveaway bags, so I will show them quickly before they go to their new homes. The vision worked. I think they look so cute. I happen to have these zippers in stash and they go perfectly, I think. So I got the one yellow and the one green, and all of my giveaway winners have contacted me. Thank you so much for that. So all outstanding things are going in the mail today. So keep an eye out for that, but I'll message everybody anyway. But that is it. That is it for the stuff. I don't have any haul. Hello, 'tis I from post recording, because right after I recorded, I remembered that I had something to show you. That I got. I did have haul, turns out. So I went to the Crafty reuse store in Atlanta. I think a couple of cities have these, but they're basically like craft thrift stores specifically. When my sister was in town, I wanted to go check it out, and so we went, and boy howdy, I was inspired by Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globe to, you know, thrift some frames. So we were like, let's go check it out. And I got many frames for not very much money. So I'm going to show some of them off. Some of these I kind of have a plan for, some of them not so much. So here's the first one. It's very convenient with like needlework and stuff that, like, you know, we mount things on like mat board or foam core. So it's like, it doesn't really bother me when they don't have a back. So this is a very simple little one. And obviously I could use a different, you know, I could do a nice little ribbon or something here. So I got all these frames for like $7. Crazy. So I got this one. This is a nice one. And this one does have glass. So I think the ones with glass are like $2, so luxe. But this one, yeah, fully has its nice little back and a little hanger and stuff. So I think that'll be nice for a small. And then this one seems like, you know, just a regular, like, probably came from a, you know, Michael's or, you know, a big box store, black frame, but, you know, can never have enough of these. And, you know, if I really start to get creative, this would be a great one to like embellish, you know, like paint or decorate or something. Now we get into some of these pretty ladies. So here's this one. I love this. I don't have anything that will fit in this presently, but I feel like when that day comes, this is gonna just make that piece sing. And it has an interesting, like, the back like folds open. It doesn't fully come out. I'm sure I could just like cut it if I needed to, but yeah, this one's fully intact, but yeah, no glass, which is fine. Fine by me. Next up is this one, also with glass. Try to angle you here. It's kind of this nice like gold, very pretty. Then we have this kind of bronzy one. This one's a little bit damaged. This is kind of out of sorts, but not anything, and especially like on camera you really can't tell. But yeah, this one has its back still, but no glass. Love this one. And then this one I'm gonna need to do a little work, I believe, but it obviously has a print still in it, but you can see there's like some kind of molding or something, you know, discoloration of the paper happening. So, and this was professionally framed, so I kind of like dug into the back a little bit here, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work to get this one out, but that's okay because I don't have anything that immediately I want in this frame. And then I have two more. I got this one, which I love as well, and I like this mat. It's got a fancy little mat in there, and you know what actually will fit in here is Bonaventure Cemetery, or Bonaventure Morning Sampler, if you've seen that one. I think it'll look super cute in here. It's a little big for it, but it does fit, so I think that could be a potential for this one. But It is a pretty big frame for it. But yeah, also summer 2010 Daytona Beach, RIP. There were no pictures. There was nothing in here. I didn't take it out. But yeah, so no glass, but it does have a back. And a mat, which is exciting. And last but not least, this is definitely, I was like, you're coming home with me. I don't even think you're ready. It's a metal frame. What even? Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with this. Okay, y'all, what I actually want to do with it is I was totally thinking, I don't know if these are too big for it. Somebody, Thread Gremlins, someone who stitched this, let me know. I was thinking, is it Night Spirit Studios that has the widow and the widower frog, but they face each other, like those charts face each other. Can you imagine how good that would look in this? I'm very into that idea, but also if you can think of any other like duos of patterns that would fit in this, I'll give you dimensions. You know what? We can do a little crowdsourcing here. The opening of these is 9 tall, 6 3/4 wide. So 9 by 6-ish. So get on it. Tell me what we think. Cause I love this. This is fantastic. I can't believe this. And like they have, yeah, this little back that slides out and it's like velvet. I love it so much. Anyway, so this one's definitely the star of the show for me. I love it so much. So anyway, Crafty reuse store. We'll be definitely checking that out for frames in the future. But I obviously have a nice little supply going right now. And then lastly, they had a whole sewing section. My sister picked this out. So that's the haul from the Crafty reuse store. Would go again. Actually am going again tomorrow because I had a friend. So funny, like I went for the first time ever and then I had a friend message me and was like, have you ever seen this place? I was like, yeah, I have, let's go. So I'm going back tomorrow, but I don't think I'm gonna try to buy like 10 frames again. But you know, they have like I have a list of my pieces that I think I want framed with their sizes and stuff, and so now I can consider, maybe this time I'll look at mats and see if any of the mats are the right size, because that could be a fun, and that would make it look more fancy, I think, if I had mats. But anyway, I digress. Back to the main video. I did get my Black Needle Society Halloween treat box in yesterday. They offered 2 boxes, like a trick or a treat, and you know, it's kind of like the spooky versus spoopy box. So the treat one is more like spoopy. The theme is homemade Halloween. I filmed myself unboxing that yesterday and I'm going to release that separately. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested, but it was a very cute box. I like it. And the charts are pretty good. So yeah, so I'm going to run through a couple more plans, disaster mitigation plans, and then I can send you on your way. So I need to do Sal catch up as always. So we're going to continue working on Edward Gorey today. And then my other goal, because Stitch North is next week, y'all. I leave on Thursday next week for Stitch North. So I'm trying to think about like what it is that I want to bring there and what I want to be done with, because when I come back, I get back on the 28th, which obviously I'm probably not really going to do that much like the day I get back. And then, you know, it's just a few more days, So that is an issue. So I'm trying to think of that. So I would like to have my monthlies done. So if you have followed me, I've had this Celebrate All Year Stitch Along from Black Needle Society, and I have kept up with it every single month. I miserably failed in September. I'm not even close to done with that chart, and I've not put any more stitches into it. I've decided, disaster mitigation, I'm letting that chart go for now. I'm not going to try to like catch up because it's on the fabric that I hate the most, and it's like the highest stitch count of any of the Celebrate All Year charts that we've had so far. So I'm just going to put that aside. It's a 2025 problem. And I'm going to start the October chart this weekend as well, hopefully. So hopefully if I can get that done over the weekend or early next week, that will make me feel really good. And then that way, you know, it's like, then I won't be just kind of like, oh, I'm behind, I just won't, you know, it's like things can easily snowball into having like a lot of stuff not done instead of just not having September done. And then I'll only have like that project as my problem next year, which would be better for me. And then Stitch for Pride, we're keeping up with, so that's all good. As far as my 1,300 stitches on each project, okay, so part of the problem is when I envisioned this idea for myself, I thought I had like 5 Halloween projects. If you count Celebrate All Year and Stitch for Pride as Halloween projects, which I kind of do because they're assigned for the month of October, I have like 11. And that's a problem. That's a problem. But anyway, so I was going through, so Monster House Sal is clear, but the problem is I want to keep stitching on it, so we'll see. Izzy Decayin, which technically I started in September, but I've hit 13% on that project. So I could, I might do a little stitching on it just to say I did some October stitching on it, but like technically I can kind of knock that one off too. Life Potion needs a ton, we saw. Autumn Night Alphabet, haven't even touched. Gotta get that one out. Witch's Hollow also needs a ton more. I have one more new start I want to do. Jack Stamp Collection, like I said, technically done, but I technically want to keep working on it. And then I also have the little Witch's Pantry jar, and then the 2 like Stitch for Pride and Celebrate All Year. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think I just, like I said, I'm going to now start just kind of taking one project at a time and just sort of working on it until I hit that goal instead of just this like hopping around project to project within the same day. I think I'm just losing time, to be quite honest with you. So that's disaster mitigation plan. We'll see. I've not done either of my October Whip Go calls yet. And then as far as Great British Baking Show, I have bailed. I think I've bailed. I think what I'm going to do is, since I have the whole little like chart and table written out, and this is a game that Jessie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff has put out. She actually finally put out finally, like she owes us anything. I don't mean that. She recently put out a game explanation video if you're curious. So I will link that below. But it is a stitching game to get you working on whips while watching the Great British Baking Show, Bake Off, whatever, which is really fun. But obviously it's just like a busy month when I want to work on a lot of different things. So I think I'm going to keep track because I kind of set the whole game up, right? So I think I'm just going to keep watching the episodes, keep track, and maybe someday I'll catch up that stitching. Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll try it again next year. Who knows? But it's a great idea and you should go check it out if you're looking for a fun game to get out some old whips. Yes, to all that. And then I did my table gifts for Stitch North, so that's fantastic. And lastly, I had a little extra craft this week and I realized it's not sitting next to me, so I'm gonna go grab. Okay, so another thing that took up my time this week is I had a little idea, and maybe you're gonna think it's a silly little idea, but that's okay. I've talked a little bit in recent videos about hoping to really stitch from stash next year, especially in terms of patterns, like not really buying new patterns if I can avoid it. And part of that issue is, you know, it can be hard to remember what all you have. And with the recent like Halloween freebie videos and stuff, it's just like you collect these little things and you just completely forget what you have. So I was kind of trying to think of a way. I personally sort of identify as someone who is an analog person in a very digital world, but also, you know, an analog person who doesn't want their life, like I am definitely more of a cluttered person. You know, not everything has its perfect little home. My craft area kind of does now. Thank you so much, Montana friend. But in the rest of my home, the curtain here, I'm more of a cluttered person and I tend to hold on to things. And so I wanted to have some way to physically visualize my digital patterns, but not take up a ton of space. So I certainly didn't want to print them all out, basically. So I decided, y'all might think this is goofy. Now that and for legal reasons, this is a joke. Okay. Now that I'm back in the office 1 day a week, some color printing, okay? Asterisks, allegedly, hypothetically in Minecraft. I printed. Okay, these are glued, all right? So it's a 2-step process. So I printed at home little icons of my digital patterns. And then I bought some cardstock and I cut them and I glued the paper on. And then I just have like the name, don't judge my handwriting, I was working through these really fast. The name of the pattern, the designer, the size, and then like this one was from the Stitchers Collective Earth Day 2023 collection. So like if it's from something like that, I made note of that. That's kind of a rare exception here. So this is what I have so far. Look, I forgot I had these adorable sprouting lupine cauldrons. I can't add more this year, but I really like this. Amity. The boomerang stitches charts. So yeah, I have these. This is not all of it. This is not all of it, but it is a good chunk of it. So I have, and some of them are a little bit bigger. I didn't really think through the sizing super well, but that's okay. So right now, I was initially thinking that they would live in this index card box, but even this is kind of a lot to like flip through. So I ordered yesterday, because I have extra binders lying around, but I ordered sort of like photo pages. I have a ton from Bad Stitch. Let's see. Oh yeah. And then Son of a Stitch, his freaking Flosstober free charts every day. I ordered, help me, clear pages that you could put pictures in, or like trading cards or whatever, but these aren't really trading card size. If I had thought of that at the very beginning when I was printing, maybe I would have been more cognizant about the size, but you know, I wanted these to be a good enough size that I could tell what they are, especially because a lot of these, like the Son of a Stitch ones, like this is just the chart. I don't have like a mock-up of it. So, you know, some of them I was able to get one, but, anyway, I hope to then have them in a binder and then I can kind of like organize them in a different way. Like, how cute is that? Hello? So this is a little ongoing project I started for myself that I got really excited about and spent like 2 days getting all this together. Some great owl forest. So that's, yeah, this is my fun little project and I will update you as I get the binder in and stuff and how that's going. But I don't know if anyone feels similar in that they're just sometimes kind of like, I have no idea what's in there. What's in my, you know, digital vault. Obviously I think there's sort of a, you know, if you've been stitching for decades, like I said, this is a good majority of my patterns. Like this is probably over half. So this is a lot, but it's somewhat manageable. I can't imagine if you had like 1,000 patterns, you know what I mean? Because I believe I think when I looked at it, I had about 100. This is about 100 patterns. So if you have like hundreds and hundreds, this might not be feasible, economical, worth it at all. Because 100 patterns took a lot of time. And like I said, I still have a lot to go. But yeah, that's been what has sort of distracted me this week. So yeah, right now they're living in this like index card holder. But I will, yeah, hopefully get pages in and be able to slot them in. And then I can flip through them and that will help me use more of what I have because there's some great stuff in there. There's some really great stuff in there. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking over. As far as like reading, watching, playing, I'm not really doing much of anything. I feel like everything is back on the air. So, you know, Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building. What else is on? Like I said, Great British Baking Show, even though there's going to be a new episode today and I haven't watched Bread Week yet. What else? Of course, some Halloween movies. Yeah, we're just chilling. Oh, you know what we started? Now that we finished Boardwalk Empire, we've figured out our next show, and it is Twin Peaks. And it is, what a time. I am loving it. It's so weird. It's so weird. And like the scoring and the soundtrack on it is just incredible. It's incredible. We're really enjoying that. And yeah, other than that, just packing for Stitch North. So excited. Can't wait to be with Stitchy friends next week. And that's all I got. Go watch some of the people that I mentioned who have other great Halloween videos. They're having much more progress than me, I feel. But that's okay. We're just vibing with it. We're having a good time and doing what we can. So hope your stitching is going well this month, and that maybe if you were in a place that's normally hot, that you're finally experiencing some cooler weather. I know it definitely snapped for us a bit this week. I don't know if it will if this is like Falls Fall 2 and it's gonna get, I think it's back up in like the 80s next week, so I think it is Falls Fall V2. But it's definitely feeling nice right now to be able to like wear long sleeves and sweaters and not just be perspiring profusely. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Have a great weekend, everyone. I think it's a 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, so maybe that'll be a good motivator. I don't know. I gotta stop talking. Okay. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.